Hi, beautiful people. I am so excited that you're here, that you're tuning in. I really want to talk about some things that have helped me with my transition coming here to Sweden. If you have not watched my previous video, watch it here. And yeah, I want to talk about books and podcasts and the piece of music and poems that really inspired me. And I don't know about you, but I get really moved by beauty and awe. So that's why I try every day to surround myself with things that make me so excited to be in this world. And sometimes it's so hard because there's so much stuff going on, but a good piece of music or poetry or art can really lift our spirits, and I think it's so important. Okay, I could talk about books for hours, but just a quick recap. I am in Sweden right now. I moved to Sweden 2 months ago to study my master's in peace and development work, and I have been kind of immersing myself in the subject for a few months now, for a few years really, but I've discovered a book that really changed my life, and I wanted to share this with you. It's called Creative Schools by Ken Robinson, and I found it in the library, but I've listened to one of his podcasts. I think it's one of the most listened to and viewed podcasts ever on TEDx, called Do Schools Kill Creativity? I'll link that down below as well. And again, this is open for discussion, right? That's why books are so great, to open up this conversation about education in general. There have been a lot of discussion on education. There's been a lot of efforts by the international agencies like the UN to come up with new models and transformative models to transform education. There's going to be summits in September in New York about what are the new skills that young people especially need to move forward in this ever-changing world. And this book kind of is a precursor to the summit. Don't know when it's been written really, but it's incredible. He was definitely ahead of his time. And it's just, I would say it's a bunch of stories and a bunch of case studies showcasing what kind of skills we need right now. And that he is not saying that the traditional models of education and schooling, such as, focusing mainly on math and language skills and drilling and memorizing, he's not saying that those things are not important, but he's saying that if we want to create these new leaders, these new change makers in this world, we're gonna need new skills. We're gonna need more collaborative, transdisciplinary approach if we want to live in this world, because our world is super interconnected right now, and people who harness this creativity and curiosity are the ones who are going to lead us out of this mess. So I highly recommend this book. It's a beautiful read. I would say it's like a mixture between non-fiction and fiction. And by fiction, I mean there are no fictional characters or anything like that. But the way I read it, it's very kind of like, let's say, a mixture between academic and non-fiction. I think that's better. There's a lot of stories, there's a lot of like great opinion pieces. It's wonderful. But one thing that I wanted to read to you guys, not really read, but like emphasize some of the skills that he was mentioning in here, because I think they're super fascinating. He said that if we want to get ahead in the world, we're going to have to create schools and systems and organizations that harvest these skills, okay? Curiosity, the ability to ask questions and explore how the world works. Creativity, the ability to generate new ideas and to apply them in practice. Criticism, the ability to analyze information and ideas and to form reasoned arguments and judgments. So we need to harness our critical thinking now more than ever. Communication, the ability to express thoughts and feelings clearly and confidently in the range of media and forms. It's not anymore just about comms and marketing professionals. All of us need to know how to communicate ourselves in all kinds of forms and in all kinds of medias. It doesn't mean that we need to be everywhere and put ourselves out there, but just the ability to express ourselves in different forms, I think it's so important. Collaboration, my favorites. The ability to work constructively with others. If we want to change the world, we need to create degrees and schools that are highly collaborative. And this might sound controversial for somebody, but I think the best models, and something that he's mentioning in his book as well, are the ones where we put people together, this multi-generational, cross-disciplinary approach. Because you can learn math by doing art, and you can learn art by doing math. Compassion, the ability to emphasize with others and to act accordingly. Super important if we want to truly harbor diversity, equity, and inclusion, and not just on the paper. Composure, the ability to connect with the inner life of feelings and develop a sense of personal harmony and balance. I think in the post-COVID world, where there has been so much emphasis on talking about mental health, we need to make sure that we include something in our curriculum and organizations that support people of all kinds with their inner world to find sense of balance and harmony. There's no shame in talking about mental health, because it's the same like talking about physical health. We are a highly holistic human beings, and we need to take care of ourselves in each of those aspects. And the last one is citizenship, the ability to engage constructively with society and to participate in the processes that sustain it. Doesn't just mean that everybody needs to be interested in politics, but we are a political being. And people who have traveled a lot, moved countries, people who have transcended the idea that national identity is the only identity to hold on to, are going to be needed in this world, now more than ever. The new kind of leadership, people who have bigger vision, just beyond the national borders. We need connectors, we need people who are bridges. Yeah. So if you are interested in education, if you're interested in transforming education, if you're a parent, if you're an educator, a teacher, an NGO owner, charity worker, I think this book is definitely a must read for, I would say, everybody. And if you don't want to read the book, or if you don't want to watch, if you don't want to buy it, definitely watch a TED Talk, but I will put that down below as well. Okay, wonderful. Moving on from more academic work, I don't know if you had the pleasure of Rupi Kaur yet, but if you haven't, it's incredible. I've read her first book, Milk and Honey, a few years ago, and the way she creates poems and meanings through very unconventional, so-called unconventional writing is so incredible. I am in love with her, all her poetry, all her writing. The way she can express herself with words is incredible and truly touching, and again, transcending. I got this book when I was actually in Slovakia, which is incredible because it was in English. Didn't want to judge, but I was surprised to find it there. And this one is called The Sun and Her Flowers. And it's each of her collection of poems kind of tackle different themes. This one is definitely about transitions, about breakups, about healing, about finding new love, finding yourself. Just so incredible. If you even want to get a glimpse of who she is, definitely follow her on her Instagram. I'm gonna put that link down below as well. But just incredible woman. I wanna read at least one poem just so I can give you a glimpse of the beauty that she is. Now I can't decide. It's so hard. I love her so much. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna open it randomly. That's the best, right? Okay. So this is page 127. What if we get to their doors and they slam them shut, I ask. What are doors, she says, when we've escaped the belly of the beast? The beautiful things about poetry and words in general is that it can be really open to the interpretation. I love the idea that artist is the one who creates an art, creates a creation, but the one who consumes the poetry, the one who consumes the art, can completely reinvent each of the art piece. And it's every time an artist finishes something, finishes the art, finishes the piece, it's kind of up to the world now to consume it in the way that is most beneficial for them. So that's just a thought. Love it. Definitely give it a go if you love poetry. But this is not just poetry. She talks about topics that are still very marginalized in the society. So go and check her out on Instagram. Okay. Speaking of art and peace and harmony in this world, as I've mentioned, I am going to study peace and development work. And for a lot of people, you know, we think that these very heavy-hearted topics are super excluded to the general population, I would say, and really exclusive. But I would argue that we are all peace builders in our own way, because we participate in our communities in one way or another. And we also participate in our families. You know, families and even workplaces can be truly microcosms of what is happening in the world. And one of the best way to practice peace in our own communities and in our own lives is look into ourselves. And look into ourselves in ways in which we speak to ourselves and we speak to others. Because words, and I think this is like an overarching theme of this video, is that words can be powerful. And if we surround ourselves with words that are empowering, that are loving and compassionate and kind, we will be able to translate those same meaningful words on different bigger stages, whether it's making a speech in front of the UN, or whether you are working on a project and in a small team in an organization that is really in a need of reconciliation. And this wonderful book, I don't even have words to describe it, because it is truly has been life-changing for me. It's called Speak Peace in a World of Conflict. And Dr. Rosenberg has been a pioneer in something called nonviolent communication. And it is truly have been transformative for so many people. Not just on an individual and community level, but also he transformed organizations. He transformed people who are in power and are making decisions and policies on behalf of the countries. And that just shows the power of words. And just to simply say, he talks about the ways in which we are used to speaking to each other and how we generate conflicts just by using our words. And if we want to transform the world, we need to find different way of communicating with each other and relating to each other that's more grounded in non-violence, compassion, peace, harmony, and love. And the way he does it is through a series of different exercises. But he talks about when we speak to each other, when we have a conversation, a lot of the times we don't actually hear each other because we're so preoccupied about thinking about our argument against the other person. But what we should truly do is practice deep, compassionate listening. When you are with somebody, especially if you are in argument with somebody, just sit and listen to what they're saying and try to understand their point of view. And if we can find ways and spaces to truly deeply listen to each other, I think we can truly change the world, because we will listen for the clues, we will listen to the rage and the frustration of the other person. And when we give this gift, when we offer the space for the other person to be listened to and to understand their needs, they will in turn feel that it's a safe space for them to listen to us and our needs, and there can be such a better way towards reconciliation, whether it's on a personal level or on a country level. So these 3 books, in one way or another, talk about transformation, education, words, love, harmony, and peace. And as you can see, you can study something and you can draw from different sources of inspiration. That's my favorite kind of education. That's how I learn the best. Some of the podcasts that I've been loving, one in particular actually, by a beautiful soul, spiritual seeker, person who has been campaigning for the rights of women for so long. She was the founder of an organization called Women for Women International. Her name is Zainab, and she is an activist, was born in Iraq, and has this truly fascinating way of connecting to the world. And her beautiful podcast, that I will also link down below, is exploring different modalities of personal transformation, but also she has been inviting speakers who have been working in peace and development and activism. So there's this really beautiful connection and interconnectedness between the personal transformation and how we can help the world. So I 100% recommend her podcast. She is such a calm, beautiful soul. And if you are always looking for ways to educate yourself in different ways and like to do so through people's personal stories, I would definitely check her out. The last thing that I want to mention is a song that I have been listening to over and over and over again. Again, I will link that down below, but the song is called Wild, and it is by beautiful Leonie Rimes. This song is everything that I want in a song. It is powerful, it is transformational, it has the lyrics of a 21st century powerful woman combined with the activism that I love so much. Just go and listen to it right now. That's all I'm asking. I still have shivers every time I listen to it. I know that she's working on a video clip right now. So, but go and listen to the lyrics, read the lyrics, and understand that music can be such a powerful voice for activism. And I'm actually gonna go and listen to that right now again. I listen to it at least 5 times a day right now, just on repeat, just to absorb the beauty. I don't want to spoil it for you too much, so just go and listen to it. I've been sending it to everybody I know, so I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy these kind of chit chat. I love watching these kind of videos because they really get you a glimpse into somebody else's perspective and mind, and we can really educate each other in this way. I would love to know what books you are reading, what poetry you're reading, what art you're looking at. Is there a piece of music that inspires you? I would love to know all of that. Again, thank you so much for coming to this channel. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye, and be kind to somebody today.